What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of the 1JZ build. With the block being all put together now, it is time to finalize it and install our new turbo and the exhaust manifold. So we got a Mamba bolt-on kit for 1JZ GTE VVTi ball bearing GTX 3076R with 64AR exhaust housing. This turbo is designed to be a direct bolt-on replacement for your 1JZ. If you can look at it right now, right away you can tell that these are very similar looking turbos. However, all the magic is inside. The propeller shaft on the cold side and the hot side is way bigger than the stock one. You can just see that by comparison. The next thing you can notice right away is the wastegate actuator. This is still an internal wastegate because it is a design just like the stock one. This wastegate actuator, however, comes apart completely, and the kit comes with replacement springs, so you can actually play with your wastegate pressure. If you're not trying to run a boost controller, this is a perfect alternative, because you can play with the spring rates and you can up or down your boost pressure. Versus the stock one, there's nothing you can do about it. It is what it is. You have to run a boost controller to do anything with it. From a mechanic point of view and an installer of this turbo, what really caught my attention is the details of how OEM this turbo looks. It uses all the studs in the back. They give you stainless steel studs and brand new copper nuts, which is awesome, because if you've ever taken a stock turbo apart, everything's corroded and rusted. You're risking damaging the threads or over tightening it or breaking the studs, and then it becomes a lot more trouble than what it was supposed to be. So with this kit, you get all OEM looking hardware, which is awesome. Then when we move over to the rest of the things, it comes with all the replacement gaskets, so you don't have to source anything out from Toyota. The coolant lines are now replaced with stainless steel lines. That way it protects the line from getting overheated and cooked by the turbo. It comes with Banjo fittings that go onto the turbo, which swing around so you can actually change the rotation of your coolant line coming out just a little bit for your preferences to keep it away from the hot side. It comes with all brand new adapter fittings for your turbo oil return line. You get about a 2-foot long replacement hose. It is a high temp hose. We're still gonna wrap it in some heat protective wrap just to make sure and be safe. Also comes with a turbo oil feed line, stainless steel as well. As I mentioned earlier, the attention to detail on this is super amazing. It's just like OEM. What really caught my attention is even this OEM heat shield that goes on the exhaust side of the stock turbo. They have designed it on this as well. Perfect fitment. Like I said, once this is installed on the car, with a naked eye, you won't even be able to tell that this is a modified turbo. However, internally it is ball bearing. The propeller shafts are way bigger, which means it can produce way more flow, and way more flow equals way more boost and way more horsepower. Now this turbo has a 64 AR housing on the exhaust side. There is an option for an 84 or 82, I believe, which is way bigger than this. That is designed for higher RPMs and higher boost. We are trying to push 500 horsepower out of this. This is rated for 500 horsepower. With a smaller AR, the turbo will spin quicker. However, it will drop out on the top. But because this motor and this car is going to be used for drifting, we are looking for low and mid-range, the most responsibility throughout the throttle versus the top end. That's why we went with the 64 AR housing. As I've mentioned, from my point of view, as a mechanic and installer, this is like the easiest thing they could design, with all the fittings and all the lines and all the hardware. Once we get this installed on the motor and in the car, we'll get a dyno tuner's perspective on how well this turbo performs in comparison to a stock turbo, and we'll see the actual final numbers and see what this turbo is truly capable of. So for the manifold, we ended up doing a Tomei engine specialist manifold. It is a cast manifold. kind of like a blog style manifold, which means it's not equal length header runners like you would see on top mount manifolds, but it does come with all the hardware, which is super dope. Gonna get rid of all the rusty and old components, replace them with brand new ones. It comes with a little blanket as well. I'm not sure how that's gonna work just yet, but we'll figure it out during installation. And here is the manifold. It is a pretty heavy unit, so that is definitely a downfall to it. We're adding weight where we should be losing weight. However, it is cast. It's super thick, which means it's not gonna crack, and it's gonna last us for a very long time. Comparing this manifold to the factory one, you can definitely see there's a lot of points of failure on the stock manifold. And the biggest thing about the stock manifold is cylinder 6 and cylinder 5, just as cylinder 1 and 2 share the same runner, which then creates a little bit of restriction on the flow. Now these cylinders don't fire like 1, 2, 3, 4. They always fire on the opposite ends of the banks. It's usually, since this is a 6-cylinder, you cut it in half. Cylinder 1, 2, and 3 is bank 1. 4, 5, and 6 is bank 2. So you usually get a bank 1 shot, bank 2 shot, bank 1 shot, bank 2 shot. So the air is always circulating on this entire runner, one at a time. But when you do get into higher RPMs, 6,000, 7,000 RPMs, these cylinders are firing almost non-stop. And that's when you actually start getting this restriction of the circulation of the flow. What that will actually create, the engine's not going to breathe as smoothly, which will then create turbo lag and potentially not make as much power. With this Tomei manifold, you see that the runners are completely separate. So 1 and 6 goes all the way to the collector. 2 and 5 meets 3 and 4 towards the collector here. So there's going to be a lot less restriction on this manifold as there is on this. This obviously looks prettier than this. If we were to stick with the stock manifold, we would be using a heat shield, which then just doesn't look as appealing on this engine setup. We've got thousands and thousands of dollars dropped into the internals and the turbo. Might as well make it as pretty as we can. That's why we went with this manifold. Looking from the bottom and from the side ports, we also notice that the exhaust ports are made a lot bigger. One of the reasons they do that is in case you end up porting the head itself, you already have bigger runners, but also once again it goes down to the restriction. With these stock runners being so small in diameter, there's only so much air that can push through it. So if you're running stock boost 10, 12 psi, it's not a big deal, but once you start getting into 15, 20 plus psi, there is a lot of volume that's trying to exit that cylinder. Bigger runners will let that air get out quicker. Turbo will keep spooling. We're going to have a lot less restriction and potentially a lot more power and a higher end horsepower on the dyno. Last but not least, we got the turbo elbow. This is another component that's very restricted from factory and people tend to forget about it and not upgrade it. This stock elbow connects the wastegate and the turbo dump all together, which then restricts it on the collector, and then it goes down into the factory downpipe. Now, downpipes are usually like a #1 thing that people replace, which is great. You make a bigger diameter downpipe, which allows the volume of air to escape quicker, which then stops restricting the turbo. But what we ended up doing is we got a future fab downpipe and a collector, 2-in-1 components. And it also separates the wastegate separately into a screen pipe, which dumps it into the atmosphere, allowing the turbo exhaust gases go into its own pipe. Once again, it controls the volume and allows the air to circulate a lot quicker through the cylinders, which then gives us higher end horsepower and potentially more horsepower gains. So these are pretty much all the components that we're going to be installing. I will put a link in the description for all these parts that we used. We'll have exact pricing in those links. This way I'm not butchering and giving you guys the wrong information. So now that we got everything covered, it's time to get going and install it on the engine. Alright you guys, so the install was fairly simple. The manifold and the turbo are like the OEM replacement, so there's really no modifications needed to be done. I did actually discover that the manifold can take the stock heat shield back on it. It actually has spots for the bolts to bolt it down, and that heat wrap that came with the manifold, it's supposed to sit on top, and you're supposed to smash the OEM heat shield over it to make extra heat protection. However, because this turbo oil feed line sticks up just a little bit, the heat shield could not sit on properly, so I'll have to make a slight modification to that another day, and then we'll be able to install it if the customer chooses to go that route. Other than that, everything is fairly simple. As you guys can see, pretty much looks OEM other than the downpipe, obviously. With the elbow, that's fairly aftermarket look. We're still contemplating if we're going to use the J-pipe or not. If we're not, we're going to have to make a modification to the compressor side of the pipe and then make a custom intake, but we'll leave that for another episode. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. Make sure you hit that like button if you like the content. Consider subscribing to the channel if you like this type of videos. There's definitely a lot more coming with the 1JZ. We got more videos coming with the Mazda 929 with a 2JZ as well. And of course, I'm still finishing up my S14 and there's a lot more content to come with that 2JZ as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.